Good evening, my fellow seekers of truth. Tonight, the air feels thick, doesn't it? There's a scent of revelation in it, metallic, electric, unsettling. The kind that hums before the storm, when the world stands still and even the powerful hold their breath. You've heard the whispers, no doubt. The murmur of a name that has haunted the corridors of power like a phantom. Epstein. The man who knew too much, died too suddenly, and whose legacy festers like a wound the world refuses to clean. They promised closure. They promised answers. Instead, they offer us ink, thick, black, and blotted across the truth. They call them redactions, as if truth were a contagion that must be quarantined. They claim to protect privacy, to guard national security, as though our security depends on ignorance. But tell me, when did secrecy become patriotism? When did deception become a form of service? You see, red and blue alike, both sides of this political masquerade have built their kingdoms upon silence. Each swears they're different, but when the lights dim and the cameras fade, they share the same instinct. Cover the tracks. Protect the names. Preserve the illusion. What does that say about the system when its first reflex is to hide? What does that say about the soul of a nation when the truth is treated as contraband? The Epstein files are not merely a document, they are a mirror. A reflection of who we've become, of how easily we allow monsters to wear medals, how quickly we avert our eyes when the devils dance in suits and ties. They will tell you these files must be censored to protect the innocent. But I ask, who precisely are they protecting? The nameless children whose innocence was stolen? Or the politicians and princes who purchased it? You already know the answer. You've always known. You feel it deep in your bones, that cold certainty that the powerful play by different rules, that justice bends before them, that truth kneels like a servant at their feet. They built an empire of flesh, of secrets, of obedience. And when the walls began to crack, they did what tyrants always do. They buried the evidence and called it peace. But peace without truth is only anesthesia, a numbing illusion to make you forget that the infection still spreads beneath the skin. So here we stand at the edge of revelation. The files, sealed and censored, whisper from behind locked doors, and we are told to be patient, to be calm, to trust the process. Trust the process? The same process that hid the crimes of the clergy, the corruption of corporations, the blood-stained history rewritten by those who profited from it? The same process that tells you to vote for your saviors every 4 years while the same puppeteers pull the same strings behind the same velvet curtain? No, my friends. The time for patience has passed. If these files are truly to be released, then let them be released in full. Not redacted, not sanitized, not scrubbed clean for the comfort of the guilty. For when truth is censored, it ceases to be truth at all. It becomes propaganda dressed in moral disguise. Let every name be known, every page, every line, every filthy signature. Because if you hide even one, you admit to complicity. If you protect even one, you confess that power has corrupted you beyond redemption. You see, there are only two possibilities here. Either the files are unredacted and the guilty stand exposed, or they remain hidden, and then all who guard them, every official, every agency, every party, stand guilty together. The people have a right not just to know, but to see. The truth does not belong to the government, it belongs to the governed. It belongs to the mothers who lost their daughters, the children who grew up in silence, the citizens who still believe justice is more than a campaign slogan. And I will tell you this, truth, once set free, does not need an interpreter. It needs only eyes unclouded by fear. Let the people read. Let them decide. Let them judge. Because if the state decides what truth you can see, then you are no longer free citizens. You are spectators in a theater built by liars. They think we will grow weary, that our outrage will fade. But outrage is not what drives me, nor vengeance. It is something purer, clarity. For the truth has a way of cleansing even the darkest soul, if only it is faced without flinching. Imagine, if you will, a courtroom where every politician, every tycoon, every familiar name in those pages stands side by side, not above the law, but beneath its light. Imagine seeing the same justice that hunts the poor finally turning its gaze upward. Imagine for once equality not as a slogan but as a reckoning. That is what they fear. Not chaos, not exposure, but equality and accountability. So they tell you to move along. They dangle distractions. Partisan wars, celebrity gossip, new scandals to devour the old. They feed you bread and circuses while the truth withers in the dark. But every circus must end. Every mask must fall. We live in a world built on the assumption that truth can be managed, that information can be trimmed, packaged, and rationed like a commodity. But truth is not theirs to sell. It is not theirs to conceal. It is a living force, a fire that finds cracks in the stone and burns its way through, no matter how they try to contain it. And when it finally breaks free, oh, how it will burn. To those who sit upon their thrones, I say this: you can redact the words, but you cannot redact the consequences. You can erase names, but you cannot erase the guilt that stains them. You can silence the truth, but every silence is temporary. Every lie is mortal. And to the people, my brothers and sisters who still dare to see, I offer not comfort, but a challenge. If they hide the truth, do not wait for them to reveal it. Demand it. Tear it from their grasp. For silence in the face of corruption is consent, and consent to corruption is complicity. You want justice? Then do not ask politely. Justice is not given, it is taken. If the truth condemns them all, then so be it. If revelation shakes the very foundations of the world, let it shake. Let it crumble. Let it fall. For only in the ruins of deception can something honest ever be built again. Perhaps this is not merely about Epstein, or a list, or the horrors of the past. Perhaps this is the test of a civilization's soul, whether we would rather live comfortably in lies or painfully in truth. The time for blind faith has ended. The time for masks has ended. The time for red and blue illusions, for scapegoats and slogans has ended. The truth does not serve a party. It serves the people. And until it is released without restraint, without censorship, without fear, the people will remain prisoners of the powerful. But mark these words: every secret kept against the will of the people will one day be shouted in the streets. Every page they hide will one day be written in fire. Truth has a way of finding its audience, and once it speaks, no government, no king, no Congress can silence it again. So release the files. All of them. Unredacted, unfiltered, unforgiven. Let the guilty face their reflection. Let the world see what hides behind the mask of power. Because if they refuse, then the people must decide. And when the people decide, history itself trembles. For a nation that hides its truth is a nation already rotting. But a people who demand it are a people reborn. And so, to those listening in the quiet corners of the night, remember, the truth is not dangerous. The truth is liberating. It is secrecy that enslaves. This has been the voice behind the mask. And tonight, the mask is theirs to wear until it burns.